Hi, it's Sherri from A Quilting Life, and I'm here today to share with you a new favorite tool. This is the Ultimate Flying Geese tool by Creative Grids, and I've been using it quite a bit over the past couple of weeks and just had to share it with you. So we're going to get started, and I'm going to talk about all of the great things this tool can do and actually show you a step-by-step of my favorite way to use the tool. So let's get started. Okay, so this is what the Ultimate Flying Geese tool ruler looks like. There are markings on one side, and if you notice it says trim number 1, and there are also markings on the other side, and it says trim number 2. And there are all different sizes. There are actually 8 different sizes that you can make using this ruler. And they are, and I'm giving you the finished sizes, 1/2 inch by 1 inch by 2 inches, 1.5 inches by 3 inches, 2 inches by 4 inches, 2.5 inches by 5 inches, 3 inches by 6 inches, 3.5 inches by 7 inches, and 4 inches by 8 inches. So you can tell there are a wide range of sizes that you can use with this ruler. Now, previously I've mentioned the block lock ruler a lot, and I do love that ruler, especially for the teeny tiny sizes, but they are quite pricey. And so when I realized how many different sizes I could use with this one tool, I was super excited. I actually purchased it to participate in a sew-along that my friend Val is doing. You might have heard me mention her before. She does a lot of my custom quilting, and she is going to be having a sew-along soon with Lisa Bonjean, and it's a great pattern and I want to make it. And so Val gave me a list of all the rulers I needed, and this was one of them. And I started working on one of my own new patterns the other day, and which had a lot of flying geese in it, and I looked at this ruler and the size was here. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try it out now. And I was sold, as I said, within just a little bit of time working with this ruler. Now also, I'm going to show you just one of the methods that you can use for this ruler, but you can also, there are actually 3 or 4 different ways you can use this ruler. You can actually use the ruler with the traditional method, and there is a chart, and it gives you the sizes that you need to cut for your squares, and they're sized up a bit and then trimmed down. But the method that I'm going to show you is called the Fast Flying Geese Heart method. I've also heard it called the no waste method. And so I'm just going to show you a little tutorial for that, because that's how I've been using this ruler to save a lot of time. But as I mentioned, you can also just make flying geese in the traditional way and size up your pieces, and they give you all the math on the ruler instructions. Don't throw away your ruler instructions. But then you can just trim them down. So this is a really versatile tool. Okay, just to get started, this is to make 4 flying geese. They're going to turn out like this one that I have here. And they give you all the sizes. So you're going to cut a large square, and the large square is going to be this portion of the flying geese unit. And then you're going to cut 4 small squares, which are going to end up being the sky portion, as they say, of the flying geese unit. Now, the directions are to draw a diagonal line and sew 1/4 of an inch away, but I just really like, if you've seen some of my videos, you've seen that I really like using this 1/2 inch tool. This is also actually by Creative Grids, and a pencil. And I've already drawn my lines. And what you do, just to show you, is you line up the tool. There's a diagonal, a little slot. And I like to make sure that the corner of each end of my fabric square is just right in the middle of that slot. And then I draw my lines, and these will actually be my stitching lines. Okay, so I've started by drawing those lines using this on all 4 of my units. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take 2 of the units and you're going to put them right sides together with your large square. Okay, and they are going to overlap, and it doesn't matter which one overlaps over which one. Then you're going to sew as close to the line as you can get. You don't want to sew out in these parts. If your stitching isn't just quite straight and wavers a little bit, it's better to waver towards the inside. Okay, and so when you've done that, you will have a piece that looks like this. And you'll be able to see that these little pieces will flop up. But that's how, and what's great is if you're making a lot of flying geese for a quilt, you can actually chain piece all of these. So for example, I had 23 blocks, I think, in the quilt I just made, and I just chain pieced all of the flying geese units for that quilt. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is actually cut this in half. And while it looks like you might just be able to eyeball it, ask me how I know. Don't do that. You can maybe slip and ruin some of your flying geese if you accidentally cut that off. I might have done that a time or two. So use a ruler or a straight edge and just go ahead and cut that in half. Okay, so now you're going to have your 2 pieces, and this is kind of why it's called the heart method, because you're next going to take these 2 pieces over to the ironing board and you're going to press out towards the little squares, and that's why this, you know, is just kind of nicknamed the heart method. So you're going to press that, and you're going to do the same thing with this one. And so you're going to have 2 kind of heart-shaped units, okay? And then what you're going to do, that's where these extra squares come in. Let me get a little presser. I'm just going to kind of roll these to show you. Okay, then that's where these extra squares come in. You're going to set that right there. We'll go ahead and do the same thing over here. And you can use your iron too. It's really hot in the studio here today, and I don't want to turn my steam iron on and heat up the room. Okay, so then you're going to do the same thing. And once again, if you are chain piecing a large number of these, you can then chain piece all of these sections together, you know, turn them the same direction and do all of your chain piecing. And once they're sewn, they are going to look like this with the 2 little seam lines. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to trim them each in half. And it doesn't have to be perfect as long as you don't cut through your stitching line. Okay, and so now you're going to see how we have now ended up with our 4 flying geese from that large square and those 4 small squares. Now you're going to actually then go to the ironing board and trim and press these. I've already got some that have been pressed, so we can set those aside. And so that's what you're going to have at this point. And they're not going to look perfect because they're not. They are oversized. And so now I'm going to show you how you trim them. I'm actually making, these are 2 inches by 4 inches finished. And so I'm going to go to my ruler and I'm going to go to trim number 1. And it shows you that the 2 inches by 4 inches finished is D on the ruler. So you just kind of remember that, D. And I'm going to do trim number 1, and I'm going to line up there's some little lines that say D. I'm going to line up, and you're going to actually trim just 2 sides. The right side and the top. And what I figured out was I just do trim 1 on everything before moving to trim 2. It just seemed to make it go faster for me when chain piecing a big group of these. So trim 1. And then what you're going to do is you're going, and the fourth one from this set is kind of my sample that I've already shown you. Then what I do is I just flip my units over. I flip my unit over so that I'm on trim 2. And this time you're going to line up the left side, and you're also going to have the D is going to, the lines just line up with the triangle section. And there are dotted lines at the left side and the bottom, and we're again going to trim the right side and the top. So I've trimmed these, and they are just perfect flying geese. What I also love about this method is that there doesn't seem to be as much of the bias that I sometimes have kind of put into my blocks when I'm using other methods like the block lock. So I really, really believe that this is going to be my #1 go-to method for making flying geese from now on. And also, as I mentioned earlier, if you're just making a couple, the ruler has instructions to do that. So if you don't need 4 that are the same, you can also use the instructions to, you know, just make that 1 or 2 flying geese units that you need. I do like the 4 though, if you're making a scrap quilt, or if you want to make a whole bunch of flying geese units to have on hand for a scrappy quilt. I have a quilt that I'm actually going to be making, and I'm so glad that I'm not further along on it because now I can use this method for it. So just a really great method and a really great tool that I wanted to share with you today. Okay, and so that's it for today's little ruler tutorial. I will have a link to buy this ruler in a couple of different places in the description below. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's video. When I find a new tool or something that I love to share it with people, and just knew as soon as I had used this tool, not even for a couple hours, that I had to film a video. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it with a friend, hit the like button, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much for stopping by.